Om Sadashiva-Samarambham Shankara-Acharya-Madhyamam Asmadacharya-Paryantam Vande Guru-Paramparam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahi Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे। ओम श्री हयग्रीवाय नमः। ओम श्री वल्लभा समेत श्री महागणाधिपतये नमः। So we were discussing the dvaitasya mithyatva upapattih. In this context, whether dvaita is there or not after Brahma Sakshatkara, because the Purva Pakshi was arguing that Rajju Sarpa is fine, where the Sarpa Nivritti is happening after the Rajju Jnanam. Can we say the same thing with reference to Dvaita or the Jagat itself? Because Jagat is Vyavaharika, we say, but Rajju Sarpa is Pratibhasika. So how can you give that as a Drishtanta to talk about the Mithyatvam of this Jagat? Means what we say is the Pratitikatvam is similar for both Jagat and Rajju Sarpa. Even though there are some differences, but both of them are really only appearances. And once you know the truth of them, then they don't really exist. Even though they appeared and they may appear. Even while appearing, they are not there. That is the whole point. That is the difficult point to understand, I think, for many people. They are getting confused between existence and appearance or perception. Even while you are perceiving something, it need not be there. It can be non-existence. Is something difficult for people to appreciate. So here also the Purva Pakshi is arguing like this. So how can you say that Jagat also is Pratitika? Doesn't the Jagat, is it not there even when you are not perceiving it? This is the point. So for this what we say is, like the Sarpa, the Sarpa Pratiti is no more Satya after you have seen the Rajju. Like that Jagat also after Brahma Sakshatkara, after Atma Jnanam, Brahma Jnanam, the Jagat resolves into Brahman. So the Jagat Pratiti is not Satya. There is no Satyatva Buddhi in the Jagat Pratiti. Therefore, there is no question of the Jagat being Satya. It is also Mithya because there is a Badhaka Pratyaya is there for that. Like how the Sarpa Pratyaya is Badhita by Rajju Pratyaya. Similarly, the Jagat Pratyaya is Badhita by Brahma Sakshatkara or Brahmatma Aikya Pratyaya or Pratiti. Now, in this case, there is also an argument that, okay, this Jagat Pratiti may not be there when somebody is in Samadhi or even when you are sleeping and all that. So, and let us say that this, in the Samadhi, the yogi or jnani had Brahma Sakshatkara, but what about when he wakes up from the Samadhi? Is not the Dvaita Darshana there? Means, even if Dvaita Darshanam is there in terms of Pratiti, it is not there really. That is what we are trying to make it clear. For the Mukta Purusha, there is no real Dvaita Darshanam. This is the important point we have to understand. In fact, this apparent contradiction Bhagavan talks about all the time in the Gita, particularly with reference to Kartritva. He says, Tasya kartaram apimam vidhi akartaram avyayam. So these statements and all one cannot understand unless one understands the Satyam Mithya clearly. So Mithya means even while you are perceiving it, it is not there. That is the beauty. So there is a question which is there legitimately, that if the jnani is also perceiving Dvaita, how can you say there is no Dvaita Darshana? Means that is Mithya in fact. Otherwise, you are giving too much reality to Mithya. Just because you see something, you cannot say everything is real, correct? So, in all the cases, the Adhisthana Jnanam need not remove the Adhyastha Pratyaya or Pratiti. This Bhashyakara also explicitly talks about in different places in the Bhashya. Okay, because there are Karas are there. That's why he gives the examples like Vichandravate or even Marich Udaka, etc. Because we talk about Nirupadhika Brahma and Sopadhika Brahma. So this kind of uh, analogies are given by Bhashyakara, and also the Jnani's Swanubhava cannot be questioned by anybody. The Jnani's Swanubhava is a different kind of Swanubhava, because Jnani knows that Jnani is not a Jnani. I am not even a knower. Is Jnani is Jnanam. Like even Bhagavan says, Tasya kartaram apimam vidhi akartaram avyayam. Like that, Drashtaram apimam vidhi Sadrashtaram, we have to say, correct? So, I am, even though knowing may be there, I am not the knower. Okay. Knowing can happen. Guna Guneshu Vartante and all, it is said even in the Gita. So, I am not the knower, I am not the Karta. That is the most important thing. Karmani akarma yaf pashyet, akarmani cha karma yaha also is said in the Gita. So, karmanya abhi pravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. All these things are all talking about the vyavahara of a jnani. So one karmani abhipravrittopi also Bhagavan says, even though one may be highly engaged in action, that person is not a doer. So how can you say that? Please, that's how it is. That is how the jnanam works. So the jnanam strips you of the status of being karta. So when we in general say karta means even jnatritvam also is gone in that. Knowing as an action, I am not doing really. I am Jnapti Swarupa, which is different from knowing as an action, or even that's why we say even Sakshi, being the witness, also is really only Mithya, because unless the witnessed Vishaya is there, there is no witness. The status of being a subject also is dependent on the object being there, but subject object itself is Mithya. So Brahman is neither subject nor object, but it is the Adhisthana for both. This is what we are talking about. So this is a very difficult thing to understand for Dvaitins or even some Advaitins also. So that is why the argument is going on here. How can you say that world is Mithya because it is being seen, etc. So we say that if Dvaita Darshana is really there, then nobody can be a Mukta. Nobody can be a Mukta and also have Dvaita Darshana in reality, because Dvaitam is Dvaya. All these things are, and Dvaitam has been, uh, it has been, that Ninda has been done of Dvaita by the Shastra. Okay. Therefore, this Dvaita Darshana cannot be said to be there for jnani. Okay. So in this context, some arguments and all were made. I think we were in the place where you can see here that one of the arguments made was that if you say that jnani has Dvaita Darshana really, then what about Rama? Did Rama have real dukkha when he was crying to the trees in the forest because Sita was abducted by Ravana? Means even the Dvaitins and Vishishtadvaitin has to say, no, that is not real dukkha, correct? They cannot also say that Rama was really suffering. So, if Rama was really crying, means then Rama cannot be a Ishvara or Vishnu or whatever, or even, and also Ishvaraha being Sarvajnaha is also Atmajnani, correct? Atmajnanam in the Sarvajnatvam or Sarvavetritvam of Ishvara, Atmajnanam also is included. And if Ishvara Avatara is really crying means, then there can be no jnanam. That person is no more jnani, like that it will become. That's why here continuing he says, Kincha yadi muktavapi dvaita darshanam tarhi naiva amritatvam. So this is he is saying, if the Mukta Purusha also has Dvaita Darshanam, in reality, if you say that, then that person cannot be an immortal or Amrita, because any Dvaita Darshanam in reality means you are subjected to space-time. Dvaitam brings in space-time. And if you are in space-time, you will be consumed by space-time itself. So that is the point here. In fact, he is now giving Upanishad quotations also. Yatra nanyat pashyati, nanyat shrinoti, nanyat vijanati, sa bhuma. So where you don't see anything other than the self, or you don't hear anything other than the self, you don't know anything other than the self, that is bhuma, that is the limitless. And yo vai bhuma tad amritam, and that bhuma, that limitlessness is amritatvam also, because it transcends space-time itself. And where in real you think it is real that I am seeing another. Yatra anyat pashyati, anyat shrinoti, anyat vijanati, tad alpam. That is limited. As soon as the subject-object division itself is there, then you are limited by being only the subject. So the limitation comes into the picture. And what? Atha yad alpam tan martyam. So this is all Chandogya Shruti. This is the Narada Sanat Kumara Samvada. So here the Bhuma Vidya is there in Chandogya Upanishad. So there it is very clearly said. Similar statements are there in Brihadaranyaka also. So the jnani cannot identify, even though jnani may be appearing to do vyavahara, jnani himself cannot have any identification as a karta bhokta or even as a knower. That is the reality. That is how it is. Therefore, there is no question of saying that Dvaita is Satyam or Dvaita Darshanam for jnani will not give dukkha. All these arguments they are making, interestingly. Okay. So even after saying all these things, what? Muktirhi bhuma brahmarupatvat niratishaya sukham. Yeah. So even in this Chandogya Bhuma Vidya only, it starts with Atmavit Tarati Shokam. Narada himself says, I have heard that Atmavit Tarati Shokam. So please teach me. Means this mukti is nothing but in the form of knowing oneself as Bhuma or Brahman, which is limitless. Knowing oneself as the limitless conscious being is moksha. And it is Niratishaya Sukha, it is incomparable Ananda, because this is the Ananda which is also experienced The experiential Ananda in any Vishaya, any type of Vishaya also is nothing but a Matram Upajivanti and all. Brihadaranyaka also will say that. Okay. So it is all not even a part of, it's infinitesimal part of this Ananda alone is available in the Vyavahara. It is incomparable, immeasurable Ananda. That is the Swarupa Ananda. But Dvaitam is what? Dvaitam to Alpatvat Dukhameva. And Dvaita means there is limitation. There is no other way, correct? If you have divided into two only, one is limiting the other. Therefore, it is Alpa and Dukha only. It can only be Dukha. It cannot be anything else. And it is subjected to Marana. Atayeva Brahmalokam Gatopi Jano Brahmana Saha Muktim Gantum Brahma Vicharam Karoti. So that's why he's saying, therefore, what? That is why even the one who goes to Brahmaloka, so you have done lot of upasana, karma, then you go to Brahmaloka. This is Krama Mukti is talked about. We do accept Krama Mukti also. But what do we say? Even after going to Brahmaloka, you have to listen to the same Brahma Vidya from Brahmaji who is sitting there. And then they are all there in the Brahmaloka, and when the Pralaya happens, they all become Vidya Mukta and all that. It is talked about like that, the Krama Mukti. So my Guruji used to say this, in fact. He used to say, why do you have to make all this effort to go to Brahmaloka? Right now I am teaching you, and moksha is available here and now. So you have to just own it up here and now. So there is no point in even going to Brahmaloka. Because even there also you have to again study the same Shastra, which I am right now teaching you anyway. So you can as well use it here. You don't have to make the difficult effort or the almost improbable effort of gaining all this punya to go to Brahmaloka. Okay, once we say this, what our Vishishtadvaitin comes by, he says, no, what you say may be true of Brahmaloka because Brahmaji is also teaching about Vishnu only. But if you go to Vishnu Loka, that is not required. Okay, he is saying, Nacha Vishnu Lokam Gataha na evam iti. So Vishnu Lokam Gataha na evam is saying, if you go to the Vishnu Loka, it is not like that. Only Brahma Loka, Brahmaji will still teach you Brahma Vidya, which is nothing but Vishnu Vidya. Okay, from Brahma Loka, again you have to go to Vaikunta. Means, so he's saying it is not like that. Means that's not true. Okay, Yadi Vishnu Allokascha Brahma Bhinnaha Tarhi Evam Eva, he says. So even if Vishnu and his Loka also is it, if it is not Brahman, okay, Brahma Bhinna means it is Atma Bhinna in fact. If it is not, if it is separate from you, then it is the same thing. Vishnu also has to teach you Brahma Vidya only. After reaching Vaikuntha also, you being a great Bhakta, Vishnu Bhakta, finally you may accept. Because some people really were went to Advaita Guru only, even here, but they could not accept what the Guru was saying. So they rejected the Guru and went and founded another, whatever, Darshana and all that. But at least if the Vishnu is teaching that in Vaikuntha, maybe they will accept, I think. Or whether even there they will reject, I don't know. Okay. So even in Vishnu Loka, Vishnu also has to teach the same thing if you go there. Okay, if we say this, what? No, they are saying what? Tad Vishnoho paramam padamiti shrutihi. So tad Vishnoho paramam padam sada pashyati surayaha. Like this is a Rigveda is there. Rigveda Vachana. Vishnoho paramam padam. This is used even in the Bhagavad Gita also. Bhashyakara also talks about moksha as Vishnoho paramam padam. So what do we say? That Shruti is there. We don't deny that. But that is what iti Shrutistu Parabrahma para eva iti Vedya. So that has to be also looked upon as Parabrahma para, and it is not like a Upasya Vishnu para. Because Brahman is Nedam Edidam Upasate. Whatever you do Upasana and that cannot be Brahman because The Upasya Devata is also it is also a object of your mind only, correct? You are only visualizing in the mind. Anything which you are visualizing in the mind cannot be Brahman. So this Vishnoho Paramam Padam, all these words have to be looked upon as Parabrahma Para. Therefore what? Tasmat Brahmani Pratitasya Dvaitasya Rajau Pratitasya Sarpasya Rajju Sakshatkarena Iva Brahma Sakshatkarena Nivritti Sadbhavat Rajju Sarpavat Jagan Mithya Eva. So what we say, therefore what? Whatever world or Dvaita which you are seeing in Brahman, means it is in Brahman means here it is superimposed or adhyastha on Brahman. Like even the snake on the rope, once you know the rope, the snake's pratiti is no more real. Similarly, Brahma Sakshatkara, if it is there, then this Satyat, the world is no more there. It is gone. It is Nivrittam. So Nivritti Sadbhavat, it is Rajju Sarpavat only. It is like rope snake only. Jagat is Mithya. Jagan Mithyatvam has to be accepted. Therefore, what? Yetena Pratipanna Upadhau Yasya Traikalika Abhavaha Tan Mithyat Ityapi Siddham. Okay, this is one of the definitions of Mithyatvam, correct? And these are all discussed in detail in Siddhi Granthas, particularly Advaita Siddhi. So, Pratipanna Upadhau Yasya Traikalika Abhavaha. So, whatever is Mithya is not. See, even Dvaitins and Vishishadvaitin accept that this rope snake was not there before you saw the snake. After you see the rope also, it is not there. But while you are seeing the snake, they say it is somehow real because they have their own theories of erroneous cognition. Okay, anyata, khyati, khyati, etc., etc. So they say that some real snake which you have seen somewhere is only appearing here, etc. They have all the weird theories are there. How this erroneous cognition happens. But what we say is, even while you are seeing, it is not there. That is the reality, correct? That is the Traikalika Abhava. In all three periods of time, it is not there. That is the reality, correct? So, if you see here, Traikalika Abhavaha is the Mithyatva Lakshana itself. Even while you are seeing, it is not there. That's what we have to appreciate. And now what he says, the Purva Pakshi comes back. He says, no, nacha pratititaha purvottara kalayoho eva mityabhutasya bhavaha natu pratiti kale iti vachyam. So, pratititaha purvottara kalayoho eva mityabhutasya bhavaha. So, whatever is mityabhuta, whatever is false appearance, only before its appearance and after its whatever non-appearance, it is not there. But while it is appearing, it is there, no? How can you say it is abhava? So he's saying natu pratiti kale. During the time it is appearing to you, during the time you are cognizing it, it is there. That is their argument, means we don't accept that. You can't say that. Why? Brahma vikama anantaram hi purushaha na atra sarpaha asit kevalam aham brantaha atra sarpaha asit iti pratyeti. Why? Because the anubhava is what? Once the Brahma is gone, okay, Brahma Vigamana Anantaram, that person, indeed that person, what does he understand? That there was no snake there at any point in time. Only I was deluded and I saw a snake as though it is there, correct? So even while I was seeing the snake, it was not there. That is how everybody understands that intuitively. You don't have to do too much analysis there. So it was never there to start with. Okay. So that is the idea here. Tena cha pramajnanena pratiti kalepi sarpa bhavaha siddhaha eva. So from this, what do we understand? Even while it appeared and you cognized it, that sarpa was not there. That is established. Therefore, this is what everybody has to accept. There is nothing to be nothing to argue really. Okay, once we say this word, nachatvanmate anirvachaniya khyati satvat katam pratiti kale sarpa abhavaha iti vachyam. Okay, now he is saying Advaitins talk about an anirvachaniya khyati. So this anirvachaniya khyati means you are saying sadasat vilakshanam and all that, correct? So how can you say then it is abhava? So while the sarpa was being seen, you cannot say sarpa abhava is there. You are also talking about an anirvachaniya khyat. This is their question, because you say sarpa is anirvachaniya, not abhava. Means what do we say? Man matepi vyavaharika sarpa abhavat vyavaharika sarpa abhavat brahma kalepi. Okay. What do we say is, during the Brahma, whatever sarpa we see is not vyavaharika. Okay, it is pratibhasika sarpa, and that pratibhasika sarpa is not there really. That is everybody's anubhava. That's what we are saying. Since it is appearing, we don't classify it as atyanta asat. Right? Adasat vilakshanam, when we say, we are talking about atyanta asat and sadvastu, which is Brahman. They are like two potent, correct? So this is something different from both of them. That's what we say. Of course, so this is something, again, there is a problem in this also for many people. Because this law of excluded middle and all nowadays, also they say in logic. So this, you cannot have a middle ground between existence and non-existence and all they say. But even that is not always true. Okay, there are paradoxes and things like that. So our anirvachaniyatvam has its own ground. It cannot be dismissed that easily. Okay, that much I'll tell you. In fact, even in modern logic and all, there is something called Russell's paradox. You can go and look at it. It's very interesting. So they are grappling with all these things. So anyway, here there is no problem for us. It is not Vyavaharika snake which is appearing there. So why we are saying this is, in their Khyati, they say that only the Vyavaharika Sarpa is actually appearing here. Therefore, it is real and all that. So we say that it is not Vyavaharika Sarpa. It is only Pratiti. Therefore, it is Abhava only. Okay. Okay. So then what? Nacha Raju Sarpa Satya Sarpayoho Availakshanyam iti vachyam. Okay. Now, once we say this, but you are saying that entire Jagat is Mithya, then what is the difference between Raju Sarpa and real Sarpa for you? Both are Mithya, you are saying. How do you differentiate? There will be Availakshanyam, means what? There is no difference. There is no Vailakshanyam. That also you can't say. There is a Vailakshanyam. How he is saying that? See, Anirvachaniyatva amshe Vailakshanya abhavepi. So, both are Anirvachaniya. That is fine. Okay. In one way, both are Pratitika, but then there is still a difference. What is that? Rajju Sarpasya, Rajju Jnana Nivartyatvam. So, the Rajju Sarpa goes away with the Rajju Jnana, correct? So, Rajju Sarpa has Rajju Jnana Nivartyatvam, but Vyavaharika Sarpasya what? or whatever, Satya Sarpasya, Sarpasya Brahma Jnana Nivartyatvam iti asti Vailakshanyam. So, but the Vyavarika Sarpa is gone only with Brahma Jnanam, not Rajju Jnanam. So, there is a Vailakshanya in this way. Although both are really Anirvachaniya only, they are both Mithya and Anirvachaniya. Okay, then once you say this, then they can ask, correct? How can you say this? What is the hetu for this? What is the reason you are saying this? Correct? Tatra ko hetuhu iti ched uchyate. So what is the hetu? So there also we are giving the hetu. What is it? Ajnana avachinne brahmani sarpaha kalpitaha. So this sarpa, the vyavaharika sarpa is ajnana avachinna brahmani kalpitaha. Okay, in general, ajnana is the upadhi, or brahma jnana is the upadhi for vyavaharika sarpa. But the Rajju Sarpa, for it, what is the upadhi? He is saying Rajju Akara Parinata Ajnana Avachinne Brahmani. So whatever this Rajju Akara Parinata Ajnana Avachinne Brahmani, the Brahman which is characterized or conditioned by the Ajnana which has become in the form of rope. Because the rope itself is again Ajnana Avachinna Brahmani only it is appearing because it is Vyavaharika rope. And in that again there is a Kalpita Sarpa. So that is where the difference is. One is directly it is conditioned or characterized by the Brahma Ajnana. Another is characterized by the Rajvakara Parinata Ajnana Avachinna Brahma. So like this, there is a difference. Hetu also is different. We can account for that. Therefore, what? Tasmad ekasminneva brahmani deshe ekasminneva kale jagataha bhava bhavau staha iti mithyaiva jagad rajju sarpavaditi sankshepaha. So finally he is summarizing. What is he saying? There is only one desha always. Brahman alone is really there as adhisthana. And also while you are seeing it only, Jagat appears to be bhava, but it is not there really. Correct? Bhava, bhava, staha, both are there. That's why it is anirvachaniya and that is why it is mithya. So bhavavat avabhasate. That's all we can say. Yeah. Everything is iva, yatra dvaitam iva pashyati. Once you know that it is dvaitam iva, means it has become mithya. So that is why Bhagavan also says ubhayor api drishtontaha tvanayos tattvadarshibhiyana. Correct? So nasato vidyate bhavaha na bhavo vidyate sataha. Ubhayorapi drishtontaha tvanayos tattvadarshibhihi. That bhashya is very beautiful bhashya. So you can go and read that also. So this Jagat is mithya, there is no doubt about it. So this topic is over. Now we are going into a new topic. What is this? Okay, even though Jagat is mithya, again brahma-satyatva-upapattih. Brahman alone is satyam, we are saying, correct? Even there, the Dvaitins and Vishishtadvaitins, they have a problem. And Sudarshana in his Shruta Prakashika has raised some questions with reference to this also. So we are going to address that. So he is now presenting an anumana for this also. He is saying Atha Sadvastu Paramarthaha Anuvartamanatvat Rajju Sarpastale Rajjuvat iti Anumanam Vicharyate. So now we are giving an anumana. What we are saying, in fact, this anumana also is very much in keeping with this Bhagavad Gita verse I told you, correct? Nasato vidyate bhava, na bhavo vidyate sataha, that bhashya, where Bhashyakara beautifully talks about the sadbuddhi, which is the invariable in each and every cognition, correct? It is anuvritti. So same, the anuvartamanatvam itself, now vyavartamanatvam was given as a hetu for mithyatva before and that has been discussed a lot. Now, Satyatvam also is being established with an Anumana by giving Anuvartamanatvam as the Hetu here. Okay. So, Sadvastu is real. Okay. It is Paramartha. Why? Because it continues. It is never replaced. It is never displaced. Correct? It never changes. It is the invariable presence. Correct? Anuvartamanatva. Again, what is the Drittanta? Like even the Rajju. The rope was there, rope is there, rope will be there even after the snake is seen and it is gone. Okay. So Rajjuvat iti Anumanam. This is the Anumana. So here Rajju is given as the Drishtanta. Okay, once we give this Drishtanta, what? Sudarshana is opposing this Anumana. He is saying, Na idam Anumanam Anavadyam. Okay, this Anumana is not Nirdosha. Anavadyam means Nirdosham, but na nirdosham, he is saying. It is not without defects. This Anumana is defective. Why? He is saying Tatahi. So, with reference to this, what? Anumanam. Ane, okay. Anena Anumanena Pramana Sambandharha Tattat Ghatadi Swarupasya Sat Shabdartasya Kim Paramarthyam Sadhyate Uta Adhishtanataya Anuvrittasya Arthantarasya. Okay, now Sudarshana is asking a question. See, in this case, with this Anumana, what are you trying to establish? He is asking. You are saying Sadvastu Paramarthaha. What is this Sadvastu? Okay, which you are establishing. Is it something connected to a Pramana? So he is asking Pramana Sambandha Arha Tattat Ghatadi Surupa. So you are saying whatever is revealed by this Pramana as the Surupa of Ghata, etc. Is that Sat Shabda? Artha. Okay, the whatever you call as Sadvastu, is it the meaning of the word Sat, which is again something which is connected as the Swarupa of what is Swarupa of the things revealed by this means of knowledge, like Pratyaksha, etc. Okay, so you are cognizing things like pot, cloth, etc. because they are coming into contact with your Indriyas, which are Pratyaksha Pramana. And then their Swarupa is this Sadvastu. Like this you are saying, are you saying? Or Adhishtanataya Anuvrittasya Arthantarasya, or it is the Adhishtana for the appearance of this whatever Gata, Pata, etc. But it is something different. It is not their Swarupa, some other Vastu. Now he is saying you will have problem in both cases. If you say it is the Swarupa of pot, cloth, etc., means what? That means it is already revealed by Pratyaksha. In fact, you were only arguing some time back that this Sat alone is revealed in reality by even Pratyaksha Pramana and all that. So if that is the case, Adye Siddha Sadhanata is saying. Okay. So whatever is already established by the Pratyaksha or whatever Pramana Sambandha, that alone again you are trying to establish that this is useless. Okay. Whatever is already accomplished, why should you accomplish it again? So Siddha Sadhanata. And Dvitiye means what? If you say no, it is something else, means there will be Ashraya Siddhihi. Problem will come, he is saying, because the Anumana you are making it in one place. Okay, wherever the Gata and Pata etc. are cognized, the Anumana is there. But then you are saying it is Arthantara, it is something else, means it is like saying, I see the smoke on the hill, but fire is there in my house. It doesn't make any sense, correct? Ashraya Asiddhi means sometimes you can make a mistake in Anumana that you see the Hetu in one place, in one Ashraya, but then the Sadhya cannot be in another Ashraya, correct? The Hetu and Sadhya have to be in the same locus. You cannot change the locus. You cannot say it is Arthantara. Means Ashraya Siddhi dosha will come. So now what do we say? So it is Shruta Prakashika. So in the Shruta Prakashika, like this, an objection has been raised. Okay, with reference to this, what do we say? Atra uchyate kim yatartha pramakarana sambandharham vastu sat shabdavachyamiti uchyate kim va ayatartha pramakarana sambandharha vastu yadva tad ubhaya sambandharham tava tad anyatara sambandharham. So now we are asking, see, he is talking about pramana sambandharha tattat ghatadi swarupasya sabshabdarthasya. Okay. So taking that, what we are saying is, when you say pramana sambandharha, now this sat shabda, what is this? It is yathartha pramakarana sambandharha or ayatartha pramakarana sambandharha. So this pramana, which is in reality, you are saying it is in really connected, or whatever, the pramana which is giving you the yathartha jnanam, is it connected with that, or it is connected with something, a pramana or a prama which is ayatartha, means it is brahma really. But sometimes the karana can give you brahma also, correct? Ayatartha prama also. So is it connected to like this, or it is connected to both yatartha prama karana and ayatartha prama karana, or it is something totally something else? Athava tad anyatara sambandharha. Now in all these things, what first one we are taking, which is very important. So yatartha prama is given by, let us say, pratyaksha. If you argue, chakshuradehe, the indriyas are giving me yathartha jnanam. He is making a very interesting argument, which is very important also. So chakshuradehe pramanasya vastunaha sachabda vachyatvam praptam. So if you say that it is yatartha prama karana sambandha, the sadvastu has to be revealed by that. Then chakshuradehe, which are the pramanas for us, they are the ones which are revealing the sachabda vachyatvam. Okay, whatever is indicated by the word sat is revealed by this pramanas, if we say. Now the pramanas themselves are sat or not? If pramanas themselves are sat, are they having any sambandha with themselves? They can reveal themselves or not there. That is the problem which is coming, correct? Nahi pramanasya pramanantarena sambandharhatvam asti. The pramana itself, how is it revealed then? How are you even saying pramana is there? Because you are saying that which has sambandha with pramana only can be known as sadvastu or sat or as being existent. Then what about the pramana itself? Does it require another pramana now to establish that that pramana is there? Means then it will become anavastha dosha will come. Correct? So tatatve pramanasyapi pramana apekshayam anavastha dosha. So this pramana itself, if it has to be only established as sat by another pramana, then there will be a problem. So since pramana sattvam itself is not siddha for you, then how can you even define this sat as something which is yatartha pramakarana sambandha arha and all that? Correct? It makes no sense. Okay, the other is what? Dvitiye, even if it is ayatartha prama, if it is sat means then rajju sarpa and all will become sat. Correct? Dvitiye rajju sarpadehe api sat shabdavachyatvam agatam. then there won't be any any niyama or anything. You cannot even differentiate between what is error and what is valid cognition, etc. That is also a problem. Tritiya is what? It is both. If you say means that is asambhavaha, it is impossible, it is not possible. Then it is both ayatartha and yatartha. And if you go to the fourth one, means it is any one of these things, or it is something different from these things also, the same problem will come. Whatever defects we said for yatartha or ayatartha, the problems, those doshas will still be there even in the fourth option. Dvitiya vikalpokta doshaha. So those two doshas, the first two doshas, whatever we said, they will come even in the fourth option. So what are you even talking about? Your definition itself is wrong of saying that what is sadvastu means it has to be pramana sambandha arha. Arha is, we cannot accept that. In fact, Brahman is defined as asangohi ayam purushaha. Correct? That's what he is saying. Kincha asangohi ayam purushaha iti shrutehe brahmanaha nasti kenachidapi sambandhaha iti kritva pramana sambandha anarhasya brahmanaha praptam asat shabdavachyatvam. So if you go by your definition, what will become? Brahman will become asat. Why? Because Shruti is saying Brahman is asanga. Means it is, if it is asanga with reference to anything and everything, it cannot be pramana sambandha arha also, correct? So Brahman will no more be pramana sambandha arha. In fact, that is what we want. But according to his definition, Brahman will now become asat, because Brahman is talked about as aprameya. Even in Gita, Bhagavan talks about Atma as aprameya. So Brahman is not pramana sambandha arha. So according to your definition, then it will become asat. Okay, and further what? But okay, if you say no, let Brahman be asat means okay, that is also explicitly negated by the Shruti. Correct? Both in Chandogya and Taittiriya, he is quoting Taittiriya here. Nacha idam yuktam asanneva sa bhavati asti asanneva sa bhavati asat brahmeti chet veda. Correct? If somebody says that Brahman is not there, it is as though he himself is not there. He has become an asat. No. In fact, in Tamil we say that asad and all that. Correct? Asat only became asad, I think. It's as though you are not there. You have become brainless or whatever, without any buddhi. In fact, this Bhashya is very interesting. You can go and read the Taittiriya Bhashya here. Bhashyakara has written. So Brahman has to be known as only Asti. Santamenan tato viduriti. Like that. And Brahman be, but then how can you say Brahman is there even if it is Pramana Sambandha is not there? Means the Shruti is showing Brahman as Jagat Karana, correct? The Karya cannot be there without Karana. Therefore, Brahma Sattvam cannot be questioned. Brahman has to be known as Santam only, as Vidyamanam. So the Brahmavids know Brahman as Vidyamanam only. It is not that it is not there. But it can be Sakala Vishesha Rahitam, Nirgunam and all that. But still it is something nobody can deny. So the one who says Brahman is Asat, he himself is not there because Brahman is Atma also. It is like saying I am not there, which is crazy. Okay, Sadeva Somya Idamagre Asid iti cha Shrute, and also Brahman is revealed as Sadvastu. Even here Asadeva Kechid Vadanti and all that is there, even in Chandogya, and that is also not accepted by the Shruti because it is Sadeva Satyam Sadvastu. And Satyam Jnanam Anantam only Taittiriya also initially reveals Brahman. So apicha yat vishaya ghata buddhihi na vyabicharati sa ghata shabdavachyaha iti prasiddham loke. So the ghata buddhi when you have, and that is not uh, negated, correct, or that is not changed when you are looking at it. Therefore, we say Ghata is there. Ghata, the Sadbuddhi is associated with Ghata, okay, and whatever is associated with that Sadbuddhi, that Namarupa is the Ghata Shabda Vachya, we say. And in the Loka also it is Prasiddha. Similarly, what evam yad vishaya sadbuddhihi na vyabhicharati tad vastu sat shabda vachyam. So, whatever is the name and form with which the Ghata Shabda is, or Ghata is the name, and whatever form is it associated with, that doesn't change, correct? We understand the Ghata form of as something. So that's why it is Ghata Shabda Vachya. Similarly, Sat, when you say, whatever is indicated by that Sat can never change. Then only in fact it is Satya or it is Sadbuddhi Vachya. And in fact, that is how the Satyam itself is defined by Bhashyakara also, correct? Yadrupena yannischitam tanna vyabhicharati iti Satyam. So, in whichever form you have ascertained it, then it never changes that. It's always the same. That's why it is that sad word itself has a meaning like that. Okay, anyatha ati prasanga. Otherwise, what will happen? Any word can apply to anything. If you say that it keeps on changing and all that, then there won't be any vyavahar also. And also the other thing is what tathacha yadi gataha satshabda vachyaha syat tarhi gata vishayayaha sadbuddhehe vibhicharaha ma bhut bhavati tu vibhicharaha gataha asti iti vat gataha nasti ityapi pratiti sattva. Okay, further what do we say? This gata shabda vachya is there along with the sadbuddhi, but the thing is the gata vishaya or gata shabda vachya is not always along with sadbuddhi. It can also be there as asat, correct? You are saying pot is not, or pot does not exist, so it can combine with both kinds of buddhis. That's why we say gata is not really there, because whatever is vibhicharati, that is all mithya. Gata buddhi alone, the anuvritti is there. These things are all vyavritti only is there. So the gata shabda vachya can be associated with sadbuddhi. Whenever it is associated with sadbuddhi, we say it is there. But it can be associated with asad buddhi also, and therefore it is not there. So there is a vibhichara is there. Both kinds of pratitis are there. So nasti ityapi pratiti sattvat. Further what? Nahi sat ghataha iva asad ghatopi sadbuddhi vishaya iti vaktum shakyate. Tasmat ghatasya kadachit sad buddhi vishayatvam kadachit asad buddhi vishayatvam iti gata vishaya sad buddhehe विभिचार दर्शनात् न घटः सद्बुद्धि विषयः किंतु घट दर्शा ओके घटात् अर्थांतरमेव. Okay, so what we are saying, see, even the asad buddhi also is sadbuddhi vishaya only, also can be argued in one way. But here he is saying what? Nahi sad gataha iva asad gatopi sadbuddhi vishaya iti vaktum shakyate. You cannot say it is sadbuddhi vishaya, it is asad buddhi vishaya, he is saying. Therefore, what? This gata, sometimes it is sadbuddhi vishaya, and kadachit what? Asad buddhi vishaya. Both are there for this gata. And the sadbuddhi vishayatvam of the gata is that means it is varying, it is changing, correct? Vibhichara darshanat na gataha sadbuddhi vishaya. Therefore, gataha cannot be said that it is a sadbuddhi vishaya always, because some other thing becomes the Sadbuddhi Vishaya. Because Gata perception can be replaced with Pata perception. Means now Pata, Arthantara has become the Sadbuddhi Vishaya. Gata is no more the Sadbuddhi Vishaya. So like this, the change is there. Okay. Therefore, what he is saying, Sadbuddhi Vishayaha Gataha, Sadbuddhi Vishayastu Gata Apaha Eva, na Gataha iti Vachyam. What he is saying is, Purva Bhagji is saying, the Gata is always Sadbuddhi Vishaya only. Okay. Whatever you are saying as Asad Buddhi Vishaya is actually Gata Abhava. It is not Gata. So like this, there is an argument is made. Means you cannot make that argument also. Why? Gataha nasti iti abhava buddha gatasya eva vishayatvat gata vishayakam hi tad abhava jnanam यदि घट अभावस्य एव विषयत्वं तर्हि घट अभाव विषयकं तद अभाव ज्ञानम इति न विवक्षित घट अभाव ज्ञान सिद्धिः. Anyway, so here we are discussing the abhava jnana also. This will continue tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.